Tesham, out of them. Jnani, one in full knowledge. Nitya yukta, always engaged. Eka, only one. Bhakti, devotional service. Vishishyate, especially. Priyaha, very dear. He, certainly. Jnaninaha, person in knowledge. Atyartham, highly. Aham, I am. Saha, he. Cha, also. Mama, mine. Priyaha, dear. Translation. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Of these, the wise one who is in full knowledge, in union with me, through pure devotional service, is the best. For I am very dear to him, and he is dear to me. Purport. Free from all contaminations of material desires, the distressed, the inquisitive, the penniless, and the seeker after supreme knowledge can all become pure devotees. But out of them, he who is in knowledge of the absolute truth and free from all material desires becomes a really pure devotee of the Lord. And of the four orders, the devotee who is in full knowledge and is at the same time engaged in devotional service is, the Lord says, the best. By searching after knowledge, one realizes that his self is different from his material body. And when further advanced, he comes to the knowledge of impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. When one is to the knowledge of impersonal Brahman, when one is fully purified, he realizes that his constitutional position is to be the eternal servant of God. So by association with pure devotees, the inquisitive, the distressed, the seeker after material amelioration, and the man in knowledge all become themselves pure. But in the preparatory stage, the man who is in full knowledge of the Supreme Lord and is at the same time executing devotional service is very dear to the Lord. He who is situated in pure knowledge of the transcendence of the Supreme Personality of God is so protected in devotional service that material contaminations cannot touch him.
Second class devotee, Madhyamadikari, he is able to distinguish between the Lord and the devotee and the innocent and the envious, and he deals with them differently. The Kanishtadikari, third class devotee, is still not clear about things. He has some faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he's not able to distinguish between the devotees and the non-devotees. He doesn't have perfect knowledge. So he can be vulnerable to falling down, whereas the devotee who's fixed in the intermediate stage is in a very safe position. Next text.
All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider verily to dwell in me. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he attains me. Purport. It is not that the other devotees who are less complete in knowledge are not dear to the Lord. The Lord says that all are magnanimous, because anyone who comes to the Lord for any purpose is called a Mahatma, or great soul. The devotees who want some benefit out of devotional service are accepted by the Lord because there is an exchange of affection. Out of affection, they ask the Lord for some material benefit, and when they get it, they become so satisfied that they also advance in devotional service. But the devotee in full knowledge is considered to be very dear to the Lord, because his only purpose is to serve the Supreme Lord with love and devotion. Such a devotee cannot live a second without contacting or serving the Supreme Lord. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is very fond of his devotee and cannot be separated from him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 9.457, the Lord says, Aham bhakta paradino yasvantantra iva dvija sarubhir grasta hridayo bhaktir bhakta jana priyaha. The devotees are always in my heart, and I am always in the heart of the devotees. The devotee does not know anything beyond me, and I also cannot forget the devotee. There is a very intimate relationship between me and the pure devotees. Pure devotees in full knowledge are never out of spiritual touch, and therefore they are very much dear to me.
It is said, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayat Yasu Vairagyam Gyanam Shayar Hoitukam. That one who engages in devotional service automatically gets causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. So it works the other way too. If one has transcendental knowledge, then he must be engaged in devotional service. If his knowledge is full, then he must surrender to Krishna. That's the proof of that someone has understood Bhagavad Gita. If someone reads Bhagavad Gita and doesn't surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he didn't understand it. Because how could you not surrender? Krishna says what he wants. It's clear who he is. It's clear what the benefits are. It's clear what the disadvantages of not surrendering are. Everything's explained.
So when Krishna, I remember somebody told me one time that of the four people that, he was thinking that Krishna was saying that of the four people that approached God, he was saying that Krishna says that the best one is one who's searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Is that correct? Or it seems that Krishna is saying that actually you have to gain full knowledge of Him, and then you become very dear, full knowledge.
It's like they're a little inquisitive. Sometimes people like to take a course in comparative religions and they like to get an idea what's in Hinduism or what's in the Vedas, so that's something. It's at the beginning a little spark of interest. Depends what the motivation is. These four people are all considered, they're coming for some material reason, to get free from suffering, to get wealth, to satisfy their curiosity, or to get some knowledge. But simply knowledge without surrender is not so valuable. So the real thing is, does he want to be known as a scholar or known as someone who has knowledge. It was a kind of common amongst the Western devotees, because Prabhupada came to America, and the first fully surrendered devotees in the movement were Americans. And there weren't very many Indians in America at that time, and the American devotees had not gone to India yet very much. So it was common that when they would meet an Indian, for example, somewhere in America, the Indian might say, "Yes, I am knowing Bhagavad Gita. I've studied Bhagavad Gita many times." But their knowledge of Bhagavad Gita did not include full surrender. So that's a different thing. To just have read Bhagavad Gita, or to maybe even to know the verses, maybe even memorize the text, that's nice. But more important is that one follows Krishna's instructions to surrender to Him fully, engage fully in His devotional service. So that's the real jnani. Anything less than that, he's not really a jnani. Just like the term jnani, the impersonalists are known as jnanis, and they like to be known as jnanis. Their knowledge that they're the spirit soul, that's good, that's preliminary knowledge. But without understanding their relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's not full knowledge. So Bhakti Vedanta is full knowledge. It's knowledge of Veda or Vedanta combined with bhakti, devotional service. If he hears Krishna proper, just like Krishna asked Arjuna at the end of Bhagavad Gita, he said, "Have you heard my instructions? What is your decision? What do you wish to do?" And Arjuna said, "I've heard your instructions, and now I'm convinced, and I'm ready to carry out your orders, your instructions." That's real jnani. Anything less than that is not full jnani, partial. Continue.
Text number 19. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me. Knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is, such a great soul is very rare.
This is a real jnani. He surrenders to me. For the impersonalists, it may take many lifetimes trying to acquire knowledge. Sometimes they study many books. One wants to be known as a Trivedi or Chaturvedi. Wants to be known that he studied Vedas. That's nice. Vedeshu durlabhama durlabhamatma bhakto. But without bhakti, surrendering to Krishna, one can go on studying the Vedas for thousands of lifetimes, and he won't achieve perfection. So, better a moment with a pure devotee. One moment with a pure devotee can give one a taste for surrendering to Krishna. And in a few words, he just repeats what Krishna says. Krishna says we should surrender to Krishna, surrender to him. Just see the effect that the Westerners, they had no background in Vedic training. They didn't have Brahminical qualities. They weren't born into Vedic families. They didn't have any of this background, but in a short time they were able to become devotees, fully surrender. That's the power of association with the pure devotee and hearing Bhagavad Gita properly explained.
Purport. The living entity, while executing devotional service or transcendental rituals, after many, many births, may actually become situated in transcendental pure knowledge. That the Supreme Personality Godhead is the ultimate goal of spiritual realization. In the beginning of spiritual realization, while one is trying to give up one's attachment to materialism, there is some leaning towards impersonalism. But when one is further advanced, he can understand that there are activities in the spiritual life, and that these activities constitute devotional service. Realizing this, he becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and surrenders to him. At such a time, one can understand that Lord Sri Krishna's mercy is everything, that he is the cause of all causes and all that this material manifestation is not independent from him. He realizes the material world to be a perverted reflection of spiritual variegatedness and realizes that in everything there is a relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Thus he thinks of everything in relation to Vasudeva, or Sri Krishna. Such a universal vision of Vasudeva precipitates one's full surrender to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, as the highest goal. Such surrendered great souls are very rare. This verse is very nicely explained in the 3rd chapter of Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Quote, "In this body there are powers of speaking, of seeing, of hearing, of mental activities, etc. But these are not important if not related to the Supreme Lord. And because Vasudeva is all-pervading and everything is Vasudeva, the devotee surrenders in full knowledge." Bhagavad Gita 7:17 and 11:40.
Next text.
Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Purport. Those who are freed from all material contaminations surrender unto the Supreme Lord and engage in his devotional service. As long as the material contamination is not completely washed off, they are by nature non-devotees. But even those who have material desires and who resort to the Supreme Lord are not so much attracted by external nature. Because of approaching the right goal, they soon become free from all material lust. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is recommended that whether one is free from all material desires, or is full of material desires, or desires liberation from material contamination, or is a pure devotee and has no desire for material sense gratification, he should in all cases surrender to Vasudeva and worship him.
That is the best path. Even if one approaches Krishna for something material, it's better than approaching someone else to get that thing. Let's say someone wants money. So, if they come to Krishna and they pray, "My dear Lord Krishna, please give me money," that's good. They could go somewhere else. They could go, "My dear bank, please give me some money," or find some other, maybe illegal way of getting money. But they've come to Krishna asking for money. Krishna may give them money, and then they'll be pleased that I worshipped Krishna, I got some money, that was nice, I appreciate that, so let me go on serving Krishna some more. That's better than approaching the demigods for wealth. Although approaching demigods is also Vedic, it's a beginning stage of Vedic culture. They approach the demigods to get something material, and the same principle works. They get it, and their faith in the Vedic system is increased. The best thing is to approach Krishna directly through devotional service. That's what he says, "Kamais taistair hritagyana prapadyante nyadevata." That persons who are too materialistic, they approach the demigods. They're afraid to approach Krishna because Krishna is so pure. They're afraid that by association with Krishna I may lose my material attraction. I may lose my interest in this material world. Sometimes people are thinking, I like the material world so much, if I go to Krishna I may lose that. Or Arjuna said, what about a person who takes up spiritual life, he gives up material things, and then he doesn't complete, he doesn't become perfect in devotional service? Is he lost? He lost the material that he had, and he didn't get the spiritual either? Is he like a riven cloud that breaks away from a big cloud and just disappears, has no position in any sphere? Krishna says no. Anyone who engages in devotional service to any degree is eternally benefited. Neha bikramana shusti pratyavaya navijate svapamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and little advancement on the path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So it's recommended to take devotional service even if one doesn't complete it in one lifetime. The benefit is eternally there. And he makes great progress that way. A little bit of service. Narad Muni says that Chaktva svadharmam sharanam bhujam harer bhajana pakvo tapate tato yadi yatrakva vabhadram abhudamushakim kovarto apto bhajatam svadharmata. If one takes up devotional service, renounces his material occupation, takes up devotional service, but then he falls down due to being immature in devotional service, Narad Muni says there's no loss on his part. There's nothing, he hasn't lost anything, because material things are of no value. But he's made some real spiritual progress. Whereas a person who is very dedicated in his material occupation, he's considered a good example of a householder, a nationalist, a pious man, a Brahmin, whatever. But he's not a bhakta, he's not performed any devotional service. And Narad Muni says, what has he gained? There's no gain. So devotional service, that's the real criteria of one's progress, of one's success. Other things are not success. If someone has a dream at night, and in the dream he was digging, and everywhere he dug in the sand, he was getting money. He amassed millions of dollars. And then he goes the next day to work and he tells all his friends how much money he got in his dream last night. They're not very impressed. You got money in the dream, but it's gone now. You have nothing to show for it. You're still working here. Stop dreaming, get to work. So this material world is dreaming. I'm thinking, I'm American, I'm a man, I'm young, I'm old, I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm famous. It's all a dream. It's not reality. It has a sense of reality like a dream has some reality. When one's dreaming, he can't say he's not dreaming. And no one denies that in his dream he did see the money being dug up, but it's not permanent. Reality is eternal truth, eternally existent. Therefore Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, for one who has once been, he never ceases to be. In other words, the soul is eternal. Never a time when the soul did not exist. And this body is temporary. It's all imagination. There's a saying, Chanakya or some saying that 3 persons see the same object, namely the body of a woman, in 3 different ways. A yogi sees the body of a woman as a corpse. The lusty man, he sees the body of a woman as an enjoyable object. And a dog sees the body of a woman as flesh to be eaten. So which is it? Is it flesh? For the dog it's flesh. For the lusty man it's an enjoyable object. And for the yogi it's like a corpse. So which is it? And everyone has their own blend of attractions and repulsions based on the modes of material nature. So this is illusion. We're caught up in this Maya, and we're trying to make it into something very, very important. And we're putting our whole lives into these things. But we don't consider what happens after this lifetime. Where was I before this lifetime? What am I? What is the person? Is the person a combination of chemicals? Chemicals are dead matter. How does dead matter come alive? Did it just become alive by combination? If so, why can't we make it live longer? If it didn't come alive just in this lifetime, if it's been existing, then what about that? What were my different forms then? One of Srivas Thakur's sons, he passed away during a kirtan. And Lord Chaitanya went to the child and said, "Come back. Don't leave your father like this." So the child came to life again. He had died, but by Lord Chaitanya's potency, he came back. And he said, this is Chitraketu, excuse me. It's a different story, but similar. Chitraketu's son had passed away, and the sages brought the child back to life. And they said, "Why are you leaving your father? Can't you see he's distressed, your father and mother?" And the jiva, living entity, said, "Which father and mother are you talking about? I've had millions. I don't know which one you mean." So, the other day someone was telling me that a man was asking the question, where was God when the white people brought the black people here and made them into slaves? Where was God? Basically the question means, I don't think there is a God, because if there were a God, why would he allow such a thing to happen? But if one understands the whole science of Vedic knowledge, he understands that every soul has had many, many bodies in this material world. Sometimes in the body of a white man, sometimes in the body of a black man, sometimes in the body of a demigod, a dog, a cat. We've had so many bodies, and according to our karma, we get the reactions. Sometimes we're made to work like a slave. Sometimes we're given the honors of a king or a demigod. All depends on our karma. It's a reaction for our own activities. So we can't blame God for that. God's a very intelligent lawyer. He writes a contract in such a way that he's not responsible. He makes all the living entities responsible for their own activities. So nobody can blame him. You can blame him, but he's blameworthy. He's blameless. He can't be blamed actually because he's given the option up to the living entity. Each one of you can do whatever you wish to do. I'll fulfill your desires. But if you want my advice, I've given you Bhagavad Gita, I've given you so many other good instructions. Take my advice. Get out of this material world. So he's a good father. The judge doesn't hold the father responsible if the son acts whimsically and disregards the father's instructions. Other questions? I think you have to push the button.
Danavir Maharaj, devotional service to Krishna has so many advantages, as stated in the Nectar of Devotion. Pure devotional service frees one from all material distress. Pure devotional service to Krishna automatically puts one in transcendental happiness. But I'm wondering, are there any disadvantages to surrender to Krishna?
Like what? What could be a disadvantage? Well, there's one prayer by, I think it's Bilva Mangal Thakur. He says, the wealthy Mammonites may say I am misled. My relatives think I'm a fool. Some scholars think that I'm too proud. It goes on like this. That's what they think. So that's a disadvantage. He said, but I don't care. I'm going to go ahead with my devotional service anyway. So yes, there are some disadvantages. People may think you're a fool. People may say you're too proud. I have one of my relatives said, he's too pure. They were being critical because I didn't particularly want to associate in a way that they felt I should. So their criticism was, he's too pure to associate with the rest of us. So you may have to undergo different kinds of criticism. People say you're strange. Why do you wear your hair like that? Why are you dressed in a woman's clothing? You have to take insults. Sometimes we're chanting on the street. I remember once I was chanting in England, we were having kirtan. Right near the sidewalk, the street, bus came by and someone threw a big whole thing of beer. I got a complete abhishek, bathing in beer. So these things we have to tolerate. Those are disadvantages.
Those who surrender to Lord Shiva generally become opulent, but by surrendering to Krishna, one generally becomes poor.
Yeah, that's a disadvantage. So we should worship Lord Shiva. If getting material wealth is so great, why does Lord Shiva not get wealth for himself? He lives under a banyan tree with no opulence whatsoever, not even a hut, not even a little cottage to sleep in. Why does he do that? Did the worshippers of Lord Shiva, did they ever ask that question? He's the greatest Vaishnava. He gets much more pleasure out of just being a Vaishnava than getting wealth. There's that story. A worshipper of Lord Shiva, he said, I want the most valuable thing. So Lord Shiva said, go to Vrindavan. There's a devotee there named Sanatan. He's got a touchstone. Ask him for his touchstone. Very valuable thing. So he went there. He approached Sanatan and said, Lord Shiva said, you had a touchstone. He said, oh, you want the touchstone? Yeah, it's over there. You can take it. It's in the rubbish. You'll find it. Look through it, you'll find it. So the touchstone turns anything made of metal into gold. So he took the touchstone and was turning many things into gold, and he was becoming very wealthy. And some friends said, where'd you get this? He said, from Sanatana Goswami. He said, he's a very intelligent person. Why did he give you that? He said, no, he didn't need it, he kept it in the rubbish. Said, rubbish? Such a valuable thing? He said, he better go back, he must have something more valuable. So he went back and said, do you have something more valuable? Oh, you want the more valuable thing? Throw away the touchstone, I'll give you the most valuable thing. So he threw away the touchstone, then he taught him the Hare Krishna mantra. That's more valuable. That was Prabhupada's master plan. That if we can get the Americans who have wealth to give up their wealth and take to the chanting of Hare Krishna, and the Indians who are imitating the Westerners will also remember Krishna. Because it's natural for them, but they're imitating, following in the footsteps of the Westerners, trying to get wealth. So if the Westerners who have wealth, they've already tasted what it's like to have some material opulence. If they give it up, that will be very impressive, and it worked. Lord Chaitanya said, "Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamai, mama janmani janmanishvare, bhavatad bhaktiro hoitu kitvaye." Says, O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, to get many followers, to have beautiful women. My only desire is to have pure devotional service birth after birth. That must mean it's the best thing. So there's no disadvantages to bhakti, but it may be seen as a disadvantage to those who don't have spiritual vision.
So if one prays this prayer for this pure, devotional service, the third class devotee has some faith that Krishna will actually meet that desire in due course of time with, certain lessons that need to be learned.
Third class devotee doesn't pray like that. He doesn't pray, I don't want money, I don't want, no, that's what he wants. He wants those things, so he doesn't pray like that. That's the mood of the first class devotee, and a second class devotee who's on his way to becoming a first class devotee.
Okay, Jai. So where does karma come into this? Is it that this fall down, is that part of karma, or is that actually some deep, real desire? Or is it that one can also pray?
That's correct. It's a deep down desire to be independent, to be the Supreme Himself. It's like the servant of a very wealthy and magnanimous person has everything he needs. He's supplied with all his necessities. He has a good facility for his family and his home, and it's a very nice relationship. But if deep down he's envious of the master, then he won't be satisfied. He'll always be thinking, plotting and scheming. When the master's away, maybe I'll take his car, I'll go into his bank account. He's always got some mischievous idea going on there. So that's not pure, that's not good, that's a disease. He needs to rid that out. But he can rid that easily by associating with devotees and associating with the Lord. But if he doesn't want to rid it out, then Krishna doesn't force him. And he acts on it, and Krishna gives him the facility. to go to the material world. First as Brahma. When he first falls down from the spiritual world, he takes the position of Brahma. So Brahma is a very big post. He's practically the leader of the whole universe. He's powerful, mystic powers, intelligent, pure. So, and he's doing a lot of service. Brahma Sampradaya, he's the head of a Sampradaya, everything. So, he's not very fallen, just a little bit of desire. He'd like to be the head. So Krishna gives him that facility, and if by good fortune and good choice he follows Krishna's instruction, then he goes back to Godhead. After one life as Brahma, goes back to Godhead with all of his worshippers, all of his followers, and Brahmaloka, they all go back together. That's a wonderful program. But if not, if he thinks, I'd like to be like Indra. Indra has a very flamboyant lifestyle. I like that. I like to enjoy a little bit more than just studying scripture. I like to have Urvashi and Purvachiti and all these. So then he gets the opportunity to become Brahma or Indra, then Chandra, then Gandharva, then even Narad Muni. He got cursed to become a Gandharva, then he got cursed to become a Shudra. Because he was too proud, he was too attached to it, so he had to become a Shudra. And then he reached the stage of pure devotional service, went back to Godhead. So it's all incumbent upon the living entity. He has free will to choose. And it's not right for the Lord to take that away from him. Just like it's not right for a father to take away the free will of his child, even though he may say, this child has crazy ideas, I don't like his ideas, so I'm strapping him, I'm chaining him, and I'm going to put, what do you call it? I'm going to wire him up in his brain, electrodes. I'm going to control his every activity. I've got a computer program that does it. He'll do whatever I say. That's illegal. No, the government won't allow that. No, sir, can't do it. But he's doing the wrong things. I want to train him properly. No, not that way. You can try instructing him, but now he's a grown man. He's an individual. He has his own choice. He can do what he likes. You get the idea? God gives us free choice. Can't blame him. But he's always willing to help us come back to the proper position. He's always waiting for the phone call. He says, you can call me collect. Just call anytime you like, any problems, give me a call, collect. I'll accept the call. You have another question?
We've kind of discussed that the purport of the Bhagavad Gita is that we need to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, fully engage fully in his devotional service. But what does surrender mean? What's the is it manifest in a lot of different moods, or is it?
Surrender means I come before the Lord or His representative, and I submit myself for service. It's like when someone's fighting on the battlefield and the other side has annihilated all of his forces, he's out of bullets, he has no more hand grenades, he's all alone, the army is completely surrounding him, he puts up the white flag, keeps his head down, puts all the weapons down, he says, I'm yours, I'll do whatever you say. That's surrender. He has faith in the other side because what other options has he got? We've already tried everything else. Kama, dina, katida, kati. Or maybe there's some things you haven't tried yet. Tried intoxication, you tried women, tried money, tried education, tried being a demigod, tried being a dog, tried being a lion. None of these things were satisfying. So now let me try surrendering to Krishna. Might as well try it. One lifetime. You have millions of lifetimes. It's a gamble. You like to gamble. This is how you can dovetail gambling. If you like to gamble, you gamble this one life. Let me surrender to Krishna. Maybe I'll win the jackpot. Win the lotto. That's the prize, the ultimate gain is to get the lotus feet of Krishna, is to be engaged in devotional service. There's nothing greater than that. Another question? Yeah?
We were out on Harinam, and somebody walked by and they said that they had been reading the Bhagavad Gita, and they were excited about it, and they were excited to see us there at the plaza, which was nice. But he brought up some concept called Indra's web, something like this, some thought network thing. Is this bona fide by the scriptures and important for us as devotees to understand?
Indra's web? Not familiar with that.
Okay, Jai.
We're interested in Krishna's instructions. So,
yeah.
Anyway, it's good he's reading Bhagavad Gita, he'll get Krishna also has a web. The transcendental knowledge, it's so attractive. And once someone gets a taste of Krishna, either in his form, or his name, or his instructions, or service, or prasadam, he'll be attracted. He'll lose his interest in the material energy. One gopi said to another gopi, if you have any desire for society, friendship, and love, then don't go down to the Keshi Ghat and don't look at that boy, charming boy standing in threefold bending form, Tribhanga Lalitam, playing on his flute, because you'll lose all attraction to material energy. That's how Krishna is attractive. So people have to be very careful. Because as soon as they get involved with Krishna consciousness, they may lose their attraction. Parents are always afraid that my children will become too Krishna conscious, become too much devotee. They like them to be maybe a little bit, come to the temple once a year or twice a year, but not too much, because then you may not be interested in all the things of the material world. But actually that's the real purpose of parents. Guru nasasyat swajano nasasyat. They should want their children to finish up this lifetime and not take birth again in the material world, go back to Godhead. Not that they should continue in the cycle of birth and death. That's not proper mood of parents. Okay, we're ready for Arti now? Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,